Today's a good day, right?
My name's Kyle.
And my name's Melissa.
Together, we've been traveling with our dog Dolly in our Toyota RAV4. We've decided, though, it's time to convert our very own camper van.
So, coming back from my parents' house, this is the first real day that I've been working on the van, and I just kind of spent most of the day cleaning the garage, getting the things out. But the thing that we were working on that kept tripping us up time and time again was we would start on something like the wall or the ceiling, for example, and we would always run into the same problem, is that the threshold that's going to be between this headliner right here and the camper part needs to be in before we can do so much stuff in the van. And so I've been working on the template. It's this right here. It's pretty close. This piece I think is going to be one of the hardest ones to get to fit properly in this van. Nothing is straight. Why does everything in a van have to be some weird curve that doesn't make sense, that's not symmetrical? This is one of the pieces that we messed up the first time. What better piece to try our first trial and error cut on the threshold of in between the headliner and the rest of the van. How amazing would it be if this fit on the first time? It's actually not terrible. I think what the plan is that I'm going to do is these tall boards will go like this, because this is the perfect out from the perfect depth out that this is going to line up just right with where the board needs to go down. I'm going to cut some of these smaller boards and just put them underneath here, and then attach these up into those boards once this is up here and finished. So then it'll be held pretty decently all around, and then we can get our threshold up here and then figure out how we're gonna attach the roof. So this one goes here. Yep. Cool. I'll just cut some blocks. So these are gonna go up here. I thought for sure after last night, before I got these boards up obviously, that I was gonna have to recut this piece because I didn't think it would fit. But this actually fits really nice. So I just cut this piece right here. This is gonna connect the positive coming in from the 12 volt to our 120 volt inverter charger. So this is gonna be what's carrying the current to and from this guy right here. But can someone explain to me, why is heat shrinking something so satisfying? It's just so satisfying. So this is the XXX wire that's gonna run from the inverter to our 120 volt breaker box. So, time to cut this thing. Gosh. If I ever get this, it'll be a miracle. Good grief. This is such close quarters with thick cables that don't want to bend. my gosh, it happened. They all went in. Oh my gosh. Tighten it down before they come loose. Now here's to really hoping this is gonna be long enough to reach all the way down through the back of the box and get to the AC panel, because it is ever so close. Man, you can't even see it. It comes like right to where the window is, like right here. Oh my gosh. I don't think it's gonna be long enough. I think I might have to order another cable that's gonna be long enough. All that work to get that in over there, just for this not to be long enough. So after last night, was pretty defeated last night after finding out that cable wasn't long enough. So I ordered another one online. Should be here in the next couple days. In the meantime, we're gonna continue getting all of the cables that we can get connected. So like the solar charger, we can connect the from the solar charger to the Lynx distributor. Same with the Orion, the DC-DC like alternator chargers. We can get those connected in and we're gonna set up like a negative bus bar, so that way we can ground our the pieces that need connected. So I ordered another a couple lugs, wire lugs for the 4/0 gauge cables, so that way we can connect that in and use 4/0 cable, so that way we're properly grounded with all the gauges and everything like that. I guess we can finish wiring up the multiplus. Keep getting distracted from that, but I made the cable yesterday. Turns out I was just a massive idiot. So I was completely forgetting to plug in the battery monitor that's right here. So this is what's gonna be mounted in our cabinet once we get that a little bit further along in the process. But this is what actually connects to your phone through Bluetooth. So now that that's on, it is showing up right here. Look at that. Inside of the app, we have everything. The percentage of the batteries, what voltages we're getting, how many amp hours we've used, what are we using, everything like that. So this is the bus smart dongle. So this is gonna connect into this, and this is what's gonna allow us to be able to remotely turn this on and off from our phones. So in order to do that, it has a little power cable that we gotta connect onto the same studs as the positive and negative right here. I think we'll probably stick it on this far side over here, and that'll also give us room. This cable right here has to goes into here and then gets plugged into this guy, and that's how these talk. Here's what it looks like on the side. Comes down and in right there. Now that the firmware is updated, all we gotta do is click on this guy, and right here, we can turn on or off, turn it to charge only, invert only. So we'll turn it off. So we need to get this cable from right here, all the way over to our DC panel, and measure them out, cut them, crimp them, heat shrink, put some ferrules on, all the things, so that way it fits all nice and good over there. So we're gonna measure this all out. Now we just gotta do this with both cables now, but instead put red heat shrink, just to help distinguish the positive and negative. Both cables. So for the DC to DC alternating charging, what we're gonna use is we have these little junction blocks that are just single stud, and these, which are fuse holders. So what they look like is it's gonna look like this. So this gets mounted to the wood structure, and then you put your input and output connects to this stud, and then because we have two of the DC to DC chargers, because there's going to be two of these studs, and they each get their own fuse that sit on the stud itself. So you can see it right there. What this will do is we'll have the main cable coming from the battery, and it'll connect onto this, and then these two will get smaller gauge wires that will run to each DC to DC charger, and then the output will run to the other one, and then output, and then a thicker gauge wire again to carry this all the way to the links distributor, which then puts it into the battery system. So this is where these fuses come into play. So quite typical with this build so far, we've just been ping-ponging around getting different things done. So last night we kind of did a whole bunch of work on the electrical, and then today my dad is in town, and we decided that we should probably get, while he's here, he can help with the window, like sills, if you will. They're not going to be any windows there, but like the bump outs for sleeping side to side in bed. In order to do that, we need to cut out these two metal braces that are in the middle of the panel. So that way we can get a piece of plywood that sits flat, because both of those are different, like they're different depths. They stick out farther. So in order to do that, then we kind of started looking at our bed frame and what our bed frame solution was going to be, and we kind of came to the conclusion that we're going to bump out just a little bit from these. These just weren't tall enough to get to the right thickness that we were wanting. So what we're going to do is the extra pieces that we have of these, we're going to cut them, and they're going to sit directly underneath these bars on these brackets that we mounted to the wall. So then it's gonna bump it up about an inch or like 3/4 of an inch or so. And that is gonna give us a nice clean height. So with this scrap pieces demo, before we lifted it up, the panels were kind of sitting right about here. And afterwards, they're gonna come up all the way up into the windowsill, and it'll be a lot easier to make the panel that's gonna cover this whole section right here. So I'll be honest, I thought the days of cutting holes out of the van or big metal pieces out of the van were over, but looks like that was not true, and we're gonna have to cut out some metal pieces.
Look at this is funny. What in the world is happening here?
Yo, it's a new day. So last night I decided that I was going to not really film anything, wasn't really feeling it, and I just knocked out a whole bunch of the wiring. So as you can see, the only things that we have left to do are the ground wires and the solar charger, the cable's coming from the solar panel itself. So that's what we're gonna do today. We are waiting on one cable. The only cable that's left is the 120 6-gauge cable that's gonna go in right here. It wasn't long enough, the one that I had left over after getting the shore power put in. So that should be arriving before the end of today. And hopefully tonight, this will be permanently secured to the wall.
Let's get to it.
This is one of the last cables that I have to heat shrink. It's kind of sad because I really enjoy heat shrinking. It's very satisfying.
It is a good day, right?
So this is going to be our solar isolator switch. So just a simple on-off switch in case we ever want to turn off the solar power, or like if we park the van up somewhere and we don't want to be messing with the batteries at all, we can turn off this one and also the master cutoff switch, and then we don't have any power drawn and we don't have any power coming in. So that way the batteries can just sit and idle in isolation. So this is all the electrical after a lot of cable management and a lot of thought.
Well, look what has come. We got the cable, we have the junction studs. I think we have everything we need to finish this.
Perfect. So the last thing that we have to do is attach this to the wheel well to kind of help with a little bit of insulation behind this. So here we go.
That was insanely difficult. So show us what we had to just do.
Okay, so basically we had to go in and attach this to the wall. And so Kyle was basically doing this blind, and then I was going down there and guiding it with my little shrimpy arms.
And we were trying to get to that bracket all the way back there.
Oh, we got it.
We did, we got it.
Actually, it wasn't that difficult. We didn't even fight, so kill us.
Here it is. The whole thing is completed, wired, everything. The only thing that's not done, the DC 120 panels, but at least we can turn it on and test it.